According to the Problems versus Problems on the Daily Beast published on April 26, 2020, they claim that Romania has had just over 10,000 positive cases, but has only carried out 115,000 tests, meaning a large part of the population probably is infected without knowing. They also claim that asymptomatic carriers could easily spread the disease to thousands of people before a single case is confirmed. This is extremely terrifying to know, the fact that you could have coronavirus and not even know and spread that to so many people, because you can still spread it when symptoms are asymptomatic. This makes me especially worried for my loved ones, like my grandparents and my older aunts and uncles, because I know that they're put at greater risk if they were to get the disease rather than someone my age. According to the Incubation Period in Coronavirus Disease 2019, published on May 31st, 2020, they claim that during that present time, there has been 3.7 million cases and more than 259,000 deaths. This was recorded just last month. This virus has caused the whole world to change. And coronavirus is also responsible for a lot of health conditions. So it's our jobs as citizens to keep ourselves educated so that we can keep ourselves and our families safe. An FT Health Coronavirus A Time for Trade-Offs published on March 4th, 2020 says that isolation treatment and other emergency health measures against COVID-19 may help defer fatalities among those most at risk, notably the elderly and those with fragile immune systems. Yet many succumb to other conditions, including respiratory diseases. So not only if you get coronavirus will you have to suffer with the symptoms that come with it and potential long-term effects from that, you will also be more prone to getting respiratory viruses that will come in the future. That includes the ones that we have now, as well as one that we don't even know about right now, like we may get a different virus soon, or we may already have one and it may come back and it'll just put us at greater risk. A Big Problem for the Coronavirus Economy, The Internet Doesn't Take Cash, published on March 25th, 2020, states that as the U.S. economy physically shuts down, access to digital payments is becoming a necessity. The internet economy does not take cash. This COVID-19 recession is bringing to the surface a long-standing divide over the cost and accessibility of digital payments. Bridging this divide is key to the response to this pandemic-induced recession. Due to this coronavirus, small and large businesses are currently struggling. Restaurants are able to stay open, so those ones are pretty good, but they still suffered when we had that 2-week quarantine. People who can't work from home are also suffering because they have to find a different source of income for themselves. There are a lot of job losses because of coronavirus, because businesses couldn't maintain themselves. And just in general, businesses have been shutting down, so it's pretty tragic. But we must understand that all of these things are outside of our control and things we cannot control, and we can only do things within our control to protect ourselves. According to African Press Organization, published on April 29, 2020, they recommend that quarantine may therefore take place at home if suitable, or at a designated non-clinical facility. Quarantine lasts 14 days. At the same time, self-quarantine at home is allowed as long as quarantine individual complies with quarantine regulations. Sorry. Okay. Although this may apply just to travelers or people who are traveling recently, it is best to follow these to keep yourself safe. In Health Coronavirus Prevention Tips, published on January 27, 2020, provided a list of ways to keep yourself safe because there are no current vaccinations. So yeah, this is definitely a list you should follow because there are currently no vaccinations, so we can only really protect ourselves by doing this. Wash your hands often with soap and water, at least for 20 seconds. If soap and water are not available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, mouth, and unwashed hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue, then throw the tissue in the trash. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces. These are great tips and advice to follow. Honestly, if you're just going to be leaving your house, you should be sanitizing everything. One thing that I personally do is that when I leave my house, if I'm in my car, I always sanitize my handle, my gear, my screen, everything. Like, I just sanitize my whole car, and my phone screen as well, to keep myself clean. Lastly, according to the Clinic Official Offer Guidance for Coronavirus Prevention, published on February 27, 2020, says that if you are experiencing sickness or believe you may have been exposed, call the appointment line at 781-225-6789 and refrain from getting others sick by staying home and self-isolating. Supervisors have authority to allow members to stay home on quarters for up to 24 hours without medical visit. If you need immediate care, call 911 or go to the nearest emergency room. This is all great to know because you can prevent yourself from getting the virus and protect all your loved ones as well. It can cause a lot of problems for you in your future if you don't watch out now, so definitely look out.